Good morning. I hope everyone is well today. I am. And as you know, I've was traveling. Actually, I have been back now for almost my 14 days. If I wanted to take that 14-day quarantine thing seriously, which I kind of did, I haven't been around anyone. And no one's been in here, actually. But I did shoot a video yesterday, and I'm going to get that edited today and have it up tomorrow. And that's going to be cool because if you have seen all of my videos, such as Ed and Joshua, and many of my friends, fans have seen all of my videos. Oh gosh, somebody wrote me the other day. Who was it? And said she had seen every single one of my videos 5 times, and she was going back and watching them all again. Now, that's about 650 videos now. So that's commitment. I want to give a shout out to, hold on, Connie, my newest patron. Connie McGeehee, I think is how you pronounce the last name. Connie follows me on social media, and she decided to become a patron of Late Bloomer, and that's awesome. And I have had a couple of other exciting things that have been going on. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Rebecca at Food Forest Next Door. Good morning, Gina in North Carolina. Denise is here from Tennessee. There is Connie. Did I say that right? McGeehee. I hope I said that right. Beatrice is here. And Lisa Lee, good morning. How are you feeling? Smoky Northern Nevada. I don't like the sound of that because we're going to have this intense heat wave here, and there are fires in Los Angeles County as I speak. Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Cheryl's just going to be here for a minute. Everybody can say hi to her. It's smoky in Colorado too. That's not good. I guess this is fire season. I don't know. I try not to keep track of it. When I was shopping for a house way back, one of the things that I said, because I was very well aware of the problems here, because we had the big Malibu fires. Well, since then we've had big Malibu fires, but we had big Malibu fires in 92. And I remember that because I ventured out to Malibu and photographed that, as a journalist. I have all those pictures in my files. Those were all shot on film, and I made prints of those. Anyway, so very aware of all of that when looking for a house. And three things: flat, so boys can ride bicycles to the village. And number 2 was no mud. Well, actually, that was number 1. No mudslides. Don't be on a hillside because mudslides are so prevalent. We get these rains all of a sudden, and then everything washes off. Because, and I always come back to filtration, the water doesn't filter into the ground fast enough, and it runs off. Good morning, Mountains Cuds from Jerusalem. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Connie. Lena is here from, it's Angie, actually, from Piedmont, Alabama. And I always get confused. I always get thrown by your name. But yes, Angie, I'm glad you said that. Oh, dear. Lisa in Nevada has a huge wildfire 25 miles away, came from lightning and a fire tornado. That sounds horrible. What are your plans? Do you have an exit strategy? 25 miles can close pretty fast if the winds are not favorable. Good morning, Ed. I just mentioned you. Good morning, Patty. Excuse me. I'm running names together. Good morning, Maddie from Iceland. Thank you for tuning in. You're so faithful. I really appreciate it. What time is it in Iceland? Just let everybody know so they can get a grasp of where it is in the world. That's right, Cheryl. Good morning, Jamela in Trinidad and Tobago. 500. Okay, that's growing. Wasn't it 100 the last time I was on? Mm. Lori Lumax is here from Canada. We have Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, Iceland. Actually, I would say Ed was in England, but Ed, you're back in Utah, I think. Faithful Flowers is here. That would be Diana in, well, that would be Diana. And Vivian is here from South Carolina. Ooh, I thought asparagus was finished. I didn't know asparagus was still producing this late in the summer. 3 p.m. Thank you, Colorado. Diana's in Colorado. So is Carolyn. Carolyn, I don't think Carolyn's on yet. Oh, that's wonderful. Really? At the garden I visited yesterday, she had asparagus, but it had all gone to fern. I don't think there were still any, maybe a shoot here and there coming up. Right. That's right, Cheryl. It's in the grocery store. And Lori's in Saskatchewan. And I want you to say that 5 times. Saskatchewan, 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 Saskatchewan. I'm not even saying that right. Saskatchewan. Yeah, I am. Saskatchewan. Yeah. I had a thing for grammar. So I wanted to just give you a little preview, a little tantalizing thing that came up day before yesterday, I think. Actually, it was I got a message from someone who used to teach piano to my son. And I was very impressed with this woman at the time because she was working like 3 jobs and she lived on the other side of LA, and she would drive all the way over to us and give a lesson, and then she would go play piano in the department stores, and then she would do this and she would do that, and she was just doing so many things, so committed. You have to work really, really hard here in Los Angeles, and I'm talking before the pandemic. When you came here, you would have to work really, really hard, especially if you were on your own, to pay rent and to try to make a success of yourself. And she struck me at the time as someone who was really doing that. And we parted because my son stopped taking lessons, but I went to see her play a couple of times. She performed in a couple of things I saw. And I got a message from her yesterday. And also she started a newspaper about women doing their thing, and bringing stories, just collecting stories, an online newspaper, collecting stories to inspire and about women achievement. And so, good morning, Joshua. And so I heard from her, and they're doing some kind of a week virtual Burning Man thing, which I know I've never been to Burning Man, but I've seen pictures and heard about it. And it seems to be mostly a musical event. But this is going to be an online thing for a week where various people they're bringing in a lot of different disciplines, and various people are teaching workshops and all this. And she asked me if I would teach a gardening workshop. And I said, yeah, that'd be cool. So that's something I'm going to be, I have to squeeze it into my schedule. Kim, hello. How are you doing, Kimmy? I'm sorry, I said Kim. Kimmy. Organic gardening in North Carolina. Good morning. It's Dave. Thank you, Dave. Okay, Cheryl, take care. So at any rate, if this all comes together, I mean, I'm sure her event will come together. If my part of it all comes together, which I should know about this week, I'll be sure and let you know, because that's the August 30th to September 7th online. And I'm assuming, good morning, Isaac from New Jersey. Good morning, Isaac. Are you 11? Or is that what your name means there, your Google name? No, I actually haven't before. At any rate, that goes for 7 days, and presumably anybody that does a workshop, say on Wednesday at 11 o'clock, that would be available for replay, all during the until it's over or something. So, okay. You want to talk about your garden, mountain cuds? Who's growing what? I mean, we're almost in the end of August. And are people starting a fall garden, or do you have super short seasons where you are? Where's everybody at with your garden? So, we have, okay. Let me tell you about the video coming up. Oh, first of all, has everybody here at least, seen the 2 videos that I uploaded this week? I worked really hard on those, and I know some people really enjoy the videos that I put together to just relax and enjoy the beauty, and that's what I tried to do, encompassing some of the beautiful images that I witnessed in Southern Illinois. Well, not just Southern, because some of it was on the way to St. Louis, some images from St. Louis. It's the first time I'd ever seen the arch when I took that picture. Let's see. Gowdy, is that Gowdy Santana? Thank you very much. Kimmy, your grown corn, eggplants, and papaya. So when is your last harvest season, Kimmy? Because I don't remember where you are. Can you remind people where you are? And Jamela, of course, has a year-round garden climate in a tropical climate. She's got, oh my gosh, you've got the full thing going: cabbage, herbs, corn, pumpkin, cucumber, tomatoes, papaya, and beets. That's fantastic. Thank you, Diana. Yes, Laura, I think you're probably the shortest season fan that I have. Your first frost is September the 5th. Wow. Well, it's time to start winter planting in California, but of course, as you know, I won't be doing that. Oh, that's nice, Gina. What do you plan for the fall? Oh, Dave, you're growing moringa. Does it do well in North Carolina? I bet it does, because it's so much more humid there. I had a lot of trouble. Oh, I want to tell you. Did I tell you about the visiting the late bloomer garden? I don't think I did. Did I? I can't remember. Does anybody remember me discussing that I visited Late Bloomer Garden 1.0 last week? At any rate, for those of you who didn't hear me say that, I was in the Palisades. I still have my post office box, my bank, my eye doctor, all this stuff over there. And I don't feel like changing all that, especially if I'm going to be moving. So I was over there in my Pharmaca, where I buy a lot of my natural things. And I got a call from Hazel. Remember Hazel from the England video, the tea and scones video? She called me up and she was saying um, something about the house and that she would walk by and send me a picture. I said, just tell me, what is it, you know? And she said, there's a demolition. One of the windows has a demolition posted on it. And I said, oh no, well, you know, that's their choice, whatever. And, you know, the only bad thing about a demo is that means the garden gets demoed too. That because contractors here, at least, I don't know other places, but the lots aren't big enough to bring in bulldozers and just flatten out the house. They do the entire lot. And I saw it happen over and over and over so many times. And so she walked by, she said, I'll send you a picture. So she walks up, she starts taking a picture, and she sees that the owner is outside. And they start talking. And so, and meanwhile, I'm still on the phone. And I said, well, Hazel, tell her you're talking to me, you know? And so she did, and she started asking questions. So Hazel put me on speakerphone, and she's asking me questions about this plant and that plant and all this. I said, well, listen, I've got a half an hour to kill. I've got an appointment in a half an hour. You want me to swing by and I can just tell you, answer your questions? And so she did. And so I did. And it was, she's very nice, and they're not tearing down the house, which means they're not tearing down the garden, except they're tearing down the back. So she was asking me if the passion fruit vine, you know, I have this big passion fruit vine that goes all over that trellis, and it's loaded with passion fruit. And she was asking me if it could survive because they're going to tear down the garage, and it's planted in a planter beside the garage. Everything is all planted back. I mean, it's all paved back there except for this planter. And so the roots go down deep. They don't spread out. They can't. So I said, probably not. I mean, I don't see how it could, you know, but luckily she has Renee, my friend Renee, who was with me before the garden, who took out the grass originally, helped me set it up, who did a lot of the irrigation, and would just help me from time to time, even help me move some plants over here. You know, Denura's husband is actually coming twice a month. And so I said, you can ask Renee if he cuts it back, you know, cuts it back and then digs it out, if it would survive. I just don't know. No, I didn't say that, Haffy. I always had passion fruit, a lot of passion fruit back there. And there's passion fruit on the one in the front, but it needs some TLC. It's just kind of, you know, it needs to be lifted up with some supports and stuff, and that's hasn't happened. You know, she's got a baby and her mother's there and all this, so I don't know what the plan is, but I tried to just go around, and you know, the lemon verbena exploded. It was just like draping down. I said, you know, you're probably going to have to cut this back because it'll go all the way to the ground. And oh my gosh, the fig trees, remember how they were all cut back? They were loaded. The tree must have said, oh my gosh, I'm dying, I've got to put out fruit or something. It's just, there were hundreds of figs on those two trees. I didn't actually, for some strange reason, I didn't actually give a close look at the pineapple guavas, which should be super loaded with fruit too. There should be 1,000, at least 1,000, but I didn't mentally focus on it. When I left, I thought, why didn't I focus on that? There was a huge, remember when I got all of those tomato volunteers out of the cardamom, those big clay cardamom pots, all the tomatoes growing, was it last year? It must have, yeah, it was last year. I got 45 tomato plants from the volunteers that grew out of just 2 or 3 clumps of compost that we put in the back of those big clay pots. Well, we walked down to the edge of the property because the princess flower, remember how the princess flower had broken and we propped it up, and and Eric supported it and everything. It was really leaning over. We were talking about that, and I looked around, and this huge tomato plant is growing just out. A tomato, if you don't support it, it just does whatever. And it was growing out of the back of this cardamom pot, and it had fruit on it. And I said, you're going to get a lot more fruit if you stake this up so it can get to the sun. What's your actual name? Mountains Cuds. What is your first name? Kaye, please give the new passion fruit lady my mail. Last year, I sent a box of passion fruit to Daryl. That's what he's referring to. I don't know, Daryl. It's that's not. She's interested in the garden, but it's not her main focus. Her main focus is her baby, and that's clear. The whole back deck is cleared off. There's no furniture. Well, I got rid of the furniture that I had there, but she didn't put any furniture there. It's all just like pads and toys and everything, and it's all child gated off. So the whole back deck is just a child play area. And well, anyway, I'm just glad to know that the garden is not going to get the axe. And I said, can I come over and get, I meant to do it right then, but I didn't have my saw with me. I should always have those tools in my car. Really should. I didn't have a saw with me. And I said, can I get a sugar cane? Because all of the sugar cane is ready to harvest. And I thought, I want to get a piece with pups on it. The sugar cane, if you've never grown it or if you're interested, it grows in these sections. And at each section, you have the potential to have a baby. And it will put out a little bulge, which turns into a little thing with little leaves. And it gets bigger and bigger. And you can cut that, below that section, cut it below and above, and plant it horizontally. Sometimes that's difficult in a pot, because sometimes the sections are like this, so it's hard to grow sugarcane in a pot. I mean, you can if you've got a big enough pot, but it divides under the ground, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. At any rate, I said I really wanted, this is a particular variety of not bamboo, sorry, Daryl, not bamboo, of sugarcane that has these dark red bands on this much of the lower stalk. And how I love red. I think it's a beautiful, even if you didn't ever chew on it and suck the juice out of it or make juice, it's just a beautiful accent plant to have in your garden. Another thing is the cardamom. I can't wait to be able to have a big space to grow cardamom. By the way, Daryl, you're not growing cardamom. You should be. You have so much space there. You could be growing a huge cardamom plant. You should do that. And Daryl, you could sell the shoots just like you sell the bamboo shoots for income, because cardamom the spice that the cardamom produces is a seed that's like that big. It's almost like a bean. I've only seen it, in the store. Mine never grew that because they didn't have enough sun. It's a jungle plant. It's an understory jungle plant. So you plant it and it can get to be like 12 to 14 feet tall. But it benefits from it, especially if you have a hot climate. It benefits from having an upper story of weeping acacia or something taller that's going to filter the light, like in the jungle. Okay, let's see what people are talking about. Gina's naming off all the. But Ed, are you going to be in Arizona for the winter? Gina's got beets, broccoli, second round of tomatoes, pole beans. Let's see. Kimmy, what's heartbreaking? Did I mislead you? They're not tearing the house down. They're only tearing the garage and the art studio. And if you remember, for those, I mean, not a lot of people saw this video, but I did a home tour, my one and only home tour of where I lived. I did that one time. That was after the house was on the market and it was all clean. And I went into the art studio and I showed this beautiful flat file that I had built for me out of birch plywood. And supposedly termites don't like the plywood because it's, glued together. But I don't believe that. I think termites will eat anything because I saw the termites come through the sheetrock in my art studio. I mean, and the concrete. So whatever. Anyway, they're going to tear that down. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, it is a custom built cabinet. I cannot imagine that going to the dump. Cannot fathom that going to the dump. And she said I could have it. But I'm trying to think, okay, that thing probably weighs about, I can't even remember how they got it in there, to tell you the truth. They cut a hole in the existing studio and put it in there and made it flush with the wall. So the whole thing stuck out under the awning off to the side of the studio. And it's this fabulous cabinet. And I just kept it flawless all these years. And I just think, oh my gosh, if I had that in my new pole barn or whatever I have on my property. But can you imagine what it would cost me? First of all, if they could even get it out to the end of their driveway intact without ruining it, then I would have to have some kind of a lift. I mean, I can't imagine that maybe 4 men could lift it. 4 strong men could lift it. I don't know. Up on a truck and then bring it all the way across the country. I mean, it would cost much more than me having a new one made. Oh, speaking of bamboo. Right, Happy. Let's see. Yeah, Dave in North Carolina is talking about moringa. If I'm not mistaken, Dave, did you see that video I did with Permaculture Homestead in Columbia, South Carolina? If I'm not mistaken, his moringa comes back. I'd have to go back and look at that video. But I think that's a perennial for him. I don't think he starts it over. But tell us what you're doing with the moringa, because I'm very interested. When I was on my trip and I didn't have a lot of fresh vegetables or anything, I started taking, in the morning, I would start my morning with, plus you're traveling. And I want to talk about that for a couple of minutes. If anybody's thinking about traveling and wants to know what it's really like to be on an airplane right now, I'll tell you. But to kind of keep healthy during that whole trip, because I found it very hard to find fresh vegetables. And some places I were didn't even know what kombucha was, fermented drink. I thought, well, at least I'll have some kombucha to, keep a healthy flora and bacteria going in my system. Couldn't even find that. So I took this moringa powder, and I would take a little spoon of that in water and vitamin C. And I had 3 things that went in that: powdered vitamin C, moringa. Oh yes. And my Terramin mineral clay, which is I've been taking Terramin for a long time. It's a colon cleanse. It's an internal, it's loaded with all the minerals that are so missing in foods today. And so I would start the day with that. But gosh, I hate the taste of it. I really just hate the taste of it. I can drink a lot of the different green juice powders and green juice. And I mean, I drank green juice. I made my own green juice for years. I have the same juicer that I had 20 years ago. It still works fine. And at one point I called up the company. I said, shouldn't I replace the blades or something? I mean, these steel, what are they called, Daryl? The gears. The gears actually crush instead of, you see so many juicers scrape the vegetables. They, you put it in and it just scrapes it, but this crushes it. And supposedly you get a lot more nutrition from that. I still have this machine, and they're not cheap, but boy, do they last. I can't say enough kudos to this. And I got it from Fern's Nutrition. It's called a Green Star. Fern's Nutrition has a lot of different products they don't make all of their machines or anything. And I think they're out of San Diego. So that was convenient for me, but I'm sure you could find this on Amazon or whatever, if you want to support Amazon. It's called the Green Star 3000, I think is the one I have, but they have much newer models. Obviously this one has got to be 20 years old. And I called her up and I said, shouldn't I replace the gears or something? Because it does kind of work in a kind of funky way, makes a lot of noise and stuff, does the job. And she goes, why? They're self-sharpening. And I'm going, okay, I'll never do that. Anyway, I'm interested to know, Dave, if you dry the moringa and make powder out of it. I know, Kimmy, the sugarcane juice. I always wanted to make the juice, and I was afraid that that stuff is so hard that if I put that in my juicer, it might break it. Good morning, Kathleen. Kathleen is here. Oh, that's a very good question. And that would be a question for Sharon. Daryl is asking, do deer eat cardamom? Because you have a huge problem with deer, obviously. Daryl lives kind of in the edge of a forest, I wouldn't call it a dark forest. It's a light forest. How would you describe your forest, Daryl? But I don't know. I don't know if they do. If deer eat cardamom, I don't know. The leaves are so amazing. And I wanted so desperately to make a video while I was here of cooking maybe fish or beef or something with cardamom, the cardamom leaves. And maybe I'll still get around to that. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me just make sure. Yaniris, good morning. In Carcion, I haven't heard from you in a while. It's good for you to tune in. Thank you. Don, hi. And let's see. What questions have I missed? Oh, yeah. I had such problem growing ginger, Joshua. I'm jealous. Let's see. Beatrice, you say, get it back. But now I don't know what you were talking about. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, yes, for sure. It would weigh over 500 pounds. But the thing is, what it was, Haffy, was this cabinet. Now back to the cabinet. The cabinet was built solid. It had a back and everything. And then when they put it in there, then he put this, what do you call that that rough wood that you side, almost like fence wood, but it's siding. And he put siding around it, and he put a shingled roof on it. So I'm thinking if it would come out, discard that, don't need that, discard that shingle roof and the outside wood. If it came out, it might not weigh over. It can't weigh as much as the grand piano. That's 600-700 pounds. The thing is, the grand piano weighs 700 pounds. If you saw my grand piano video, if you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it, how we moved it up here. Anyway, I won't be doing a video moving it down. I promise you that, because not that many people watched that video. And that was my best story ever. In my whole life, if I had to tell a story, start to finish, that is the best story that I can tell of my that happened in my life. And that is in that video. So you might go back and search for that if you're interested. Anyway, by the time they stripped it down, because they take off the lid must weigh at least 150 pounds, and well, 100 pounds probably. And then they take off the board that holds the music up, sits on another board, and that's heavy, and they take that off. That probably weighs 30 or 50 pounds, maybe 30, 35 pounds. I don't know. And what else do they take off? I can't remember. But they strip it down, and so what they're actually moving, oh, well, they take the legs off. And each one of the legs probably 10 pounds. So it pares down to where the body of it moving, I think, is at least 500 pounds. So I don't think it would be worse than that. So, might be able to just move it out on one of those furniture movers right out to the edge of the street. Now I'm thinking it could be possible. Yeah. Yeah. Just strip off that molding and just see if the whole thing slides out. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I think hey, Eric, a truck would be more practical. You mean a truck to buy rather than carrying this flat file all the way to Tennessee? Of course, you're right. Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, Daryl, did you see that video when I went to see Charles at Old Alabama Gardener? And now that it was blueberry bushes, but he built a huge enclosure around his bushes. I think he had at least 6 huge bushes in there. And he built an enclosure that was at least 6 feet tall. Maybe it was taller, 7 feet tall. And it was netted, the whole thing, and it had a door. Have you thought about doing something like that? Because that's sad. There's nothing better than Concord grapes. What do they do? What do grape farmers do? How do they protect their crops? There's got to be a way. Beatrice, it is a solid piece, and I was interested to see if, because the same man that built that cabinet, he also built the 2 bookcases that I brought with me. That I have those. They're really thin. I had so little space there, and I had no place to put books. So I had him build me a really thin, I think it's only this deep. Maybe it's 8 inches. I don't even know if it's quite 8 inches. But I took the average size novel, and I measured the top of the average size novel. And I had him make the shelves that deep so that I could put that right on the landing, and you could still have plenty of clearance going up and down the stairs. And he built that one. He built another one for the upstairs. So I did get to bring those 2 with me, because they were literally only attached to the wall because of earthquake. They had 2 screws going in the wall. So I took those out. That was like a last minute thing. I wasn't gonna take them. And I thought, all I have to do is take out those 2 screws, and then I've got 2 beautiful bookcases done. So literally, I think Celine and I think it was Celine and I. No. Eric helped me with the big one, and I think Celine helped me with the smaller one. Put it in the garage, and then it came here. But he also built that beautiful maroon cabinet vanity in the blue bathroom. And they changed they changed the bathtub, they changed all the shower doors were changed, which needed it. New washer and dryer, although I think the old Maytags work better. And so there are a lot of cosmetic improvements inside. New hardwood floors upstairs. Let's see, what does Brian have to say? Ooh. That makes me that makes me remember my big, gorgeous eggplant. It lasted 2 years and it had what was the variety? It had the purple stripes. Do you remember in those videos from a year ago? It was on the corner of that new section of driveway where I had the sugar cane and the pineapple guava, and this eggplant, this bush was like this big, and it was amazing. And I managed to keep it through the winter. It didn't do as great the second year, but it did live. I'm going to miss the year-round climate. I got to say, I'm jealous that Jamela can grow all this stuff all year long. Yaniris, can you remind me where you are? Because moringa likes a certain climate. It really does. Daisy Joe is here from Michigan. Yes, Daryl, it is. Good morning, Ramblin' Rose. Good morning, Rose. Deer eat everything. I know. I hate the thought of having to have this beautiful garden and have it enclosed with, it's going to ruin the view to have it all enclosed. But I mean, if I want food, I'm going to have to, because like you say, Daryl, how do you protect your vegetables? They're kind of exposed on the hillside. Oh, sugarcane juice. Do they water it down, Jamela? They must. It's very sweet. Let me go back to the commercial flight if anybody's interested. Hello, Silver Tongue Daywalker. Nana from England. Let's see, lots of thunder here. If you're growing determinate, if you have a short season, determinate tomatoes, and if you're growing short season and you feel like canning, determinate tomatoes is the way to go, because they all come in at the same time. It's interesting that you're growing carrots at the same time you're growing tomatoes. Let's see. But did it taste good, Dave? It's really, I find it really like, ooh, I mean, it kind of, oh, hi, Maria. Thank you for sharing your name. Let's see. Yaniris, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about moringa? Oh, yeah. So it's only perennial in a certain kind of climate, because it needs really a lot of sun. I mean, if you remember the moringa in the Philippines, I did a video I'm very proud of. It's called Ode to Rain. And it rained one day in July 3 or 4 years ago in my garden. I went out and filmed it. I made what I thought was a really beautiful film. And at the end, I had asked some of my fans, One Yard Revolution, Patrick at 1 Yard Revolution sent me a clip of his garden in pouring rain. And another fan in the Philippines, Anna, sent me a clip. And her moringa, the base of her moringa trees were like that. Huge. And they have monsoon, so it likes a certain climate. And it grows great in Phoenix, where, they have rains like once a year or something. It grows like a weed for Jack Davis in Phoenix. But anyway, let me tell you quickly about flying on the plane. Now, my entire experience is Southwest. I have taken, let's see, I guess only the 2 flights, going there, coming back, because I was gone for 6 weeks. Yeah. So Southwest keeps pushing back the date where they're going to allow to fill up those middle seats. So right now, the middle seats are all empty. So the plane was full, but there were only 75 people on the plane. So there's no one sitting in the middle seat, and which is nice, because you're not like bumping shoulders. Everybody's wearing a mask, but obviously if you stop to eat something, you drop your mask, you drink, you eat, and then you put your mask back on. And the stewardesses are, instead of sitting in those little uncomfortable fold down seats, they're sitting in the front row. I guess that depends. Maybe they didn't sell those two seats, but they were in my flights. And it's very calm and quiet. There weren't a lot of children on my flights. And I found the flights to be the most pleasant airline flights I've had in decades. And except for the fact that you've got to wear a mask the whole time. So depending on the length of your flight, that can get old. But I mean, there are many people that have to wear a mask, even in their profession, they have to wear a mask all day long, you know. So it takes getting used to. But I found it to be very pleasant. There's no crowding, nobody's pushing up against you. You're not, you know, everybody's polite, and it was really nice. So that's the story on that. And they're not serving any food. You know, they're going around. This is Southwest. May be different on other airlines, but they're just walking around with a little basket, and they just hand out. Or maybe you take it. I can't remember if you hand it out or take it. Yeah, she has to hand it to you. Just a little bag of pretzels or whatever. And all you do is say, no, thanks. And it's very quiet. So there's not a lot of going back and up and down the aisles and all of that stuff. It's very calm. And I liked it a lot. Let's see. Yes, Kimmy. In fact, you're talking about kombucha, and Jack and I have discussed this. And I thought I was leaving tomorrow. By the way, I'm not leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving in a few days. And I pushed back my trip because I pushed it back getting back. So I haven't been here that long. So I'm going to push it back before I leave again. And I really didn't have time. She said it takes about 15 days. I think she said it was 15 days or 14 days to develop the SCOBY. So of my own or something. So I didn't think I had enough time to do it. So when I go and visit her, hopefully all this will calm down a bit, and I can visit her in October. That's the plan anyway. And we're going to make kombucha, and we're going to make, what's it called? Pemmican. We're going to make pemmican because we need to start thinking about storing food, getting food in. There could be food shortages coming up. I mean, if you follow the news, you know that farmers have been devastated in storms in the Midwest. Of course, those aren't the kind of foods that wind up on your table necessarily, but they feed animals that wind up in your table. So, and then there's food shortages all over the world. So we have to really be prepared for all of that. And that's why the time, and this is something that I'm going to be addressing in my workshop that I'm doing for this event, is we have to be prepared for what's coming. We don't know what's coming, but we know that there are a lot of environmental things that have affected food supply. And of course, the economy affecting food supply, and people being out of work and businesses being closed and all of that. So we can't just assume, oh, I'll just get it at the grocery store. You know, we can't make that assumption. And so we have to really start thinking about storing our own food and growing our own food so that we have food to eat. And that's something I'm going to be talking about. Anyway, if you don't know what pemmican is something that the indigenous cultures, a technique that they used, you know, way back to dry meat so that it could have shelf life for a very long time. And it's not jerky. It's not like beef jerky. It's different. So I did look it up. I did see what the process involves, and it's sort of like dehydrating vegetables. And I can't wait to try that. So we're going to do those two things when I go and visit her. That's something to look forward to. Susie is here. Hi there. Remind everybody where you are, Susie, if you haven't already. Centrifugal juicers create heat and screw type do not. Yes, I think that you're concurring, Eric, with what I was saying is the scraping kind of juicers. They overheat. You can shove too much stuff down and they overheat and then they stop working. That happened to me many times. And the screw type, and you're talking about the gears, right? They don't create heat. No, I have not found a new property. Daryl and Denise are my boots on the ground in Putnam County, and they're madly searching. I have a great realtor that's also looking. We haven't found anything that I can afford that has a livable house, a house that I would want to live in on it, that has any land. And found a great house yesterday, the best house ever. The best house that I have seen that I could afford yesterday. 5.5 acres, which would be enough. You know, I don't have to have more than that. And it was a track, and the end of the track backed up to the easement of the I-40, and there was an exit there, right down there. So that would just be constant noise. And I was reminded right after I saw this and then was told and saw it online and stuff, and we nixed the idea. It's too bad because it has a beautiful front yard. The house is immaculate. I could just literally move from here to there and just start living and start building my raised beds, but I can't, if I'm going to continue my channel, I have to be in a place that's quiet. Yesterday, when I went to see my friend to film over there, I was reminded, I'd forgotten because it's been 8 years since I was there. I interviewed her in one of my very first episodes, and I will track that down and put a link to that on the little white info tags to that first visit of her garden. It's really developed since then. They were both working there. She's a hygienist and he's the dentist, and they worked together for I think 35 years, and they've both retired now. And so they're all out in the garden. They have a very small yard, and they're just all out in the garden, most of which is in the backyard, fenced off. And, but I got over there and they're literally, there's the alley, there's another house property, small properties, and another little street, and there's the I-10. And so I had forgotten about that. I used my regular microphone. There's going to be that noise in that video. I could try to drop it all out and create a voiceover, but hey, that takes so much time. And 2 days later, I need to make another video. So I just decided I'm just going to go with it. We'll just deal with it. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Kathleen is asking for the Terramin. Hold that. Okay, this is it. Edible minerals and internal detoxifier. And if you're growing your own food and you're in control of what you're eating, and your system is working great, and you're under 40, you probably don't need to take this every day. But if you're not, and you're traveling, and you can't guarantee what kind of food you're going to be able to eat, you might even have to eat processed food. Most likely you will have to eat processed food if you're traveling. This is a great product. And I've been taking this since 2000. Let's see. Let's see. Remind me of your name in Mauritius show. I'm just going to call you Show because I don't remember your name. Um, how do you just chop up the leaves and put them in the soup directly, right? And I'm assuming that when you make a soup with and you add moringa to it, that the soup is pretty much cooked, like all the vegetables in the soup is kind of cooked, and you put the leaves in like at the last minute, like you would a basil or parsley or something. Am I right? Thank you, Rebecca. My piano story. Yay, she saw it. Well, the sad footnote to that, Rebecca, if you're still there, is I am seriously considering not taking it to Tennessee. And I even looked at trying to sell it before I moved here, and nobody's interested in used pianos. Everybody wants a new one. So you can't even the stores won't even take them back. And probably the best thing I could do is to donate it to a music school. And I'm seriously considering doing that because it's going to cost me a lot of money to move it across the country. And I don't really play, unfortunately. So, and who knows if my son is going to come, if and when he's going to come. So, I would think, Jamila, that they probably sell the sugarcane juice, bottled and packaged and everything, but that's got to be nothing like drinking it fresh. But I have to believe that they water it down because just when you suck on it, it's very sweet. Or is it just the juice? I mean, if it is, it must take a lot of sugar cane to make a glass of juice. Good morning, Barbara. Hey, everybody. We got 54 people on and only 28 of these. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're on mobile, just to step off of mobile for a second, hit that like button and get back on. I'd really appreciate it. It helps with YouTube analytics. It seems like they're just not sharing my videos, all these uplifting, beautiful videos I'm making. They're not getting shared with I have 56,000 subscribers, 56,000 notifications are not going out. This was kind of news to me. Doug kind of filled me in on this, of Doug and Stacy. And so not that many people are getting notified. So the views are down, and that's really discouraging because I'm trying to uplift and inspire and encourage. And there's so much bad news that, and not only that, but there are YouTubers that are doing like racy content, and they've got 20 million subscribers or something. So it's like, I need a little help, and I would appreciate that. Hi, Yvonne. Eric at Double Dog is asking about the vendor. Are you talking about Chris that makes those raised beds? We did not talk about heat and, or cold. And we didn't talk about that. And I should have asked him about that. Maybe I could do some kind of I really would like to do a split screen kind of thing and bring somebody on. I just don't think I can do it through this platform, this webcam platform, because I don't see any way on here to share screen or anything like that. And but I'll try to get that information and bring it back, because I am absolutely going to be getting his raised beds. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, everybody, this is in the Homesteading Life Conference video that I made. That is just a slice of the conference. Obviously, a lot of information was exchanged, and I just did a few things, and then I did that lovely thing on the boat. I just thought that would be so kind of cool. And I really like the way that came out, and I hope you did too. Anyway, the Chris, who makes these raised beds, I think the company's called Living Greens. And I'll ask him about the hot coat problem because I don't know. Really? Well, Daryl, I have been discounting Monterey because you said to. You said don't get it in Monterey because of it's up on the plateau. Remember? Connie sent me an email on. You mean Connie McGeehee sent me an email? I don't have it. Oh, Connie sent me a message. Let's see. Hang on. No, I don't have that. I have something about the propylene ground cover at Growers Solutions. I don't have a link to are you talking about Connie McGeehee, Daryl? And Connie, are you there? Check my email. Hey, Haffy, don't be sharing the pemmican thing. You have to wait for my video. Let's see. Oh, yes. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you for reminding me that you're in Southeast Michigan. By the way, didn't I just give a plug for Michigan in one of my videos? Daisy Joe was saying, there's Colleen. Oh, no, there's Colleen. Oh, not Connie, Colleen. Is that what you said? I'm confused about what you guys are you saying Denise found who found a perfect house? I want to know right now while we're live. Anyway, I'm going to come back to the chat and you're going to somehow straighten this out so I understand what you're saying. Let's see. Yes. Colleen, perfect house. Yes. Are you saying from Colleen? There's an email from Colleen. I do not have an email from Colleen. Colleen is the realtor, guys. Sorry for the okay. I don't have one, so you're going to have to somehow give me a link. I can't do it. I got all these messages coming in. Let's see. Donate. Well, if I donate it to you, Rebecca, will you pay $1,500 to have it shipped? Well, that's what it cost. That's what it cost in 1999 to ship it across country. It was $1,500, and you would have to have some kind of a nonprofit status. Okay. Oh my gosh. Is there acreage? See acreage. 1 acre. No, wait. Oh, plus or minus 3 acres. I know that you guys said that. I mean, Daryl, you told me Monterey was up higher, the weather was colder, blah blah blah, and that I was not even thinking about. I was not even thinking about. Okay, everybody, you guys on bated breath. Maybe this is something. I'm going to look it up on Trulia. No, it's not here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, the house looks great. It's on 3 acres. I sure want, ooh, the price is great. There's got to be a hitch. Mini farm with 3 acres, fenced barn, privacy but within walking distance of high school. Great. And shopping. House has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, sunroom and family room on main level. Basement is finished with kitchenette, bathroom, and larger room for a 4th bedroom or man cave. Also has detached garage, basement has separate entrance, blah, 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 blah. Built in 1967. Okay, guys, I'm just going to very quickly scroll through here. I love the front porch. I wanted a covered front porch and a barn. Oh, I could have a cow. I don't know. You can't put a cow on 3 acres. Oh, ooh, that grass looks bad. Oh, outbuildings. Love the outbuildings. Don't love the cabinets, but at least there's no black refrigerator. Okay, that's something that I'll definitely check out. Daryl, why don't you shoot a quick email over, or Denise, if you're in touch with Colleen, shoot a quick email over there. Fari is here from Pakistan. Hello. How are things in Pakistan, Fari? Are you growing a garden? What's the situation with the virus, etc.? Ooh, Jamila, that's what I want. I want to come to Trinidad. I want to come to Trinidad and have sugarcane juice. It's called bagasse. Bagasse. Where are you writing? I can't pronounce your name. I'm just going to make a wild guess. Barapan. I don't know your language, so I don't know if that's the right letters. The leftover sugarcane fiber can be used as fertilizer. So you dry it. Where do you dry it? Do you have to dry it separately somewhere, or can you just throw it out in the backyard or whatever? Okay, Laurie, take care. Yes, don't mess up that jelly for my live stream. Daryl, okay, Rebecca's gone. Let's see. Jamela is in Trinidad and Tobago, Fari. She tunes in every week. So if you tune in on time, well, we're already over 9 o'clock. Everybody, does anybody else have a final question? Oh, Kathleen. Ah, you nearly had an NBD. Let me think. What does an NBD stand for? I'm not sure I know what that means, Kathleen. That is so funny. I would love to visit each and every one of you. I just love all of my followers. Eric at Double Dog Farm, I've wanted to visit him for such a long time. And Eric, you'll be happy to know that Desert King fig that you initially sent me is alive and well in Late Bloomer Garden 1.0 and full of figs and just beautiful. I didn't even take any pictures. Can you believe that? It was awkward because she kept. How many people? I know not everybody follows me on social media, but how many people on here saw my post with the passion fruit? How many people saw that post on Facebook and Instagram this week? I know Joshua did. Who else did? I'll tell the story again if you didn't hear it. So she's taking me around the garden, and she, on more than one occasion, referred to it as my plant. This is my plant. That's me, my plant, my plant, my plant. And it was just like my eyes were stinging when she would say that. And then when we were back looking at because she's going to tear those two buildings down back there, and she wants to put grass in. And I said, because she wants the baby to play back there and stuff. And I'm just going, you got too much shade. I mean, it's just going to be weeds, and it's going to be constant weed control. And it's going to be splotchy because there's shade all around. It's a small back lot, and there's trees on each side. So it's only going to get sun maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. It's not enough for grass. So not enough to have a nice big grass thing. She'll probably wind up doing turf or something. That's what a lot of people do, unfortunately. Turf is not good for the biology of the soil, and it's not good for filtration. You need roots in the soil for filtration. That's how you absorb water into the soil. Anyway, I didn't even see her pick up. There was a passion fruit that was on the ground. She picked it up, and she set it in my hand. And when she set that one passion fruit in my hand, I just thought, wow. Anyway, I came home and I wrote a post on Facebook. And if you are on Facebook or Instagram and you missed that, go to Late Bloomer Show and check that out. Yes. So all we need to know, Daryl, is, are there restrictions in that neighborhood? Did you check the surrounding area? That's very important. We don't want any quarries, freeways, or landfills. Okay. Is Colleen actually on this live? I'm confused. Is Colleen, the realtor, actually on my live stream? Daryl, how did this come up? Denise, it sounds like Denise is actually talking to her. Meanwhile, we're talking about Eric had to go get the pancakes. Is your brother making pancakes again? Kathleen, if you're referring to me going over to see the garden, about not imagining what I went through, is that what you're talking about? Because I could be way behind. It actually was because my first mission has always been to teach and to inspire. That comes above the love of my own plants. So she seemed really interested, and I just, was trying to get her excited about it. She's got a little kid. She's obviously going to live there for a while. It would seem, because she made a lot of personal changes to the house, and so show. I didn't catch it if you left your name. Okay, Connie, we've straightened it all out. The realtor's name is Colleen, and I must have seen it wrong. Actually, it's not really soup, more of a bouillon. She's talking about, what do you cook with it? Moringa? I forgot what we're even talking about it. Oh yeah, the moringa. That's what I thought. You add the leaves at the end because they would just disintegrate. Oh, I've made dal before. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've made dal before. In fact, I have a video on that, and I challenge you to find that. I challenge you to find that dal video. I'm trying to think. It was the same season that I did the Savoy cabbage, but I don't think wasn't that video. I made these wonderful, fabulous pancakes with this Savoy cabbage and potato and onion. Oh, they were so, so good. And I ate it in the front yard. Let's see, but the dal was about that time. I can't remember. I made so many videos now. Yes, Nana in England is asking who lives in England here. Do we have any other English persons on the live stream? Hi, Debbie. I don't think I said hello to you. I will tell Colleen I will contact her as soon as I get off. Dry it in the sun. We're talking about moringa, right? Well, my friend in Illinois has lots of leaves on those two plants. Those two plants grew like crazy in those pots. And yeah, that's what that should happen. What are you talking about, Roundup, Denise? I lost the thread. No, man cave was not on my list, Daryl. No, it wasn't. But believe me, I can use it for something else. Oh my gosh. Vladivostok, Russia. How do I pronounce your first name? Because I don't know that your alphabet, so I don't know how to pronounce your first name. But thank you for joining me from Russia. This is fantastic, and I think you have before, right? You've joined this before, so you obviously speak English or understand English. Okay. I am sick. Let's see. Let's see. Fari would love to have a barn. So would I. I want a barn so badly. Let's see. I mean, it's not that bad of a disadvantage to be higher up, is it, Daryl, in Monterey? Oh, Fari, that's fantastic. She says the virus is in control in her area in Pakistan. That's fantastic. And you have a rooftop garden. You know, I used to follow a guy that had this fabulous rooftop garden, but I think he might have moved. He changed his channel name, and I don't know what happened with that. But he had the biggest rooftop. Oh my God, it was like a whole big, it was incredible. But I tell you, the person that grows the most in the smallest amount of space that I know on YouTube, and that's Mumbai Balcony Gardener. She lives in Mumbai, and I saw in a video recently. We've been connected a long time. She's my friend who sent me the kurtis, the beautiful Indian. I mentioned that last time, the beautiful Indian blouses, and she showed a picture of her apartment buildings, big apartment building. And she pulled back so I could see the building, and hers is the only apartment that has a garden growing in these balconies, or these, I guess you call it a balcony. You can step out on it, but it's an iron cage that's maybe 6 feet tall, and she grows the most stuff in these cages. She has these. She makes her own compost. She has her own worm bins. She does the most gardening in the smallest amount of space I have ever seen. So I encourage you, if you are a really small space gardener and you think I can't grow anything, you look at her channel and you can see what you can do. So. Hi, Lily D. Remind everybody where you are. Diana has to go. I need to go too. Let's see. Oh, is Jack here? Jack has been keeping me up with the weather reports about the fires here. We're going to have a huge heat wave, and I'm going to be here for that. Okay, let's see, Kathleen. Yes, do teenagers, well, Kathleen, that's if school's open. And don't forget, I lived 3 blocks from a high school of 2,200 kids, that most of which were bused in, the late bloomer garden. That's where I lived. And didn't have too much trouble where I was, because 3 blocks away, kind of. But I'm just trying to think if there was any advance. One time, you're right. One time, I found a high schooler that wanted to come and work, and he worked for me one day, and he didn't come back. I guess I'm too demanding. Let's see. Gail is sending me a laxative concoction for Lyndon, and I'm Gail Noel, and I'll see that as soon as I get off. Gail, if you're watching, and I'm so glad because she has a real problem, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's see. Well, that's wonderful. I still don't know how to pronounce your name, but in Russia, Banapu. I'm going to say Banapu only because. Um, who's talking? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Marie is going to accept my challenge of finding my doll, and also look at my website, Marie, because I was thinking maybe it wasn't in a video, maybe it was just something I made for my blog. Because back before I started vlogging in 2016, I only made 20 short videos a year. It was a show. It was always designed to be like a TV show. TV show has 20 episodes, used to, before everything changed, 20 episodes a year, a season. And then they do repeats. And so they're off for 6 weeks and they just run repeats. So I always thought of it that way. But in 2016, YouTube changed its analytics. They wanted many more videos so they could advertise, more on the videos, and they wanted them longer. And in the beginning, in 2012, they wanted 3-minute videos, 3 to 5 minute videos. And so all of my old videos on the Late Bloomers show format, I don't think anything's over 8 minutes long. That would be a very long video, and I was paying people to work on it. So the longer the video, the more you pay. So I was trying to keep them short. Now it's all different. I'm doing it all myself. So if you find that, please tune in on Wednesday if you can at 4. I'm going to try to do live streams 2 a week because things are basically shut down, and I want to be sure and be in contact with everybody. And Kathleen, I'm very touched by your comment. If you're still watching, that really touched me, and thank you so much. And I hope you find it, and I hope it's there. It's been so long since I've seen it. Let's see. The grass looked bad in the meadow, but it can be regenerated. It's just, they obviously had a cow. There's a cow sitting in the barn. So they just let that cow go. I mean, it's only 3 acres. How far can the cow go? So no, what happens is the cow sits out in that 1 acre and eats it all the way to the ground and stomps it down. And there's no time for the ground to regenerate. So most likely I won't have a cow because 3 acres is not even fair for a cow, in my opinion. Thank you, Jamela. Clarified. Talking about drying the sugar cane remains in the sun, like out on a big flat thing in the sun. This is called bagasse. And I would love to do that. Anyway, she said I could come over before I leave and take a piece with a pup on it. So I'm going to do that. Renato Luna. Yes. Well, I have wanted that since I first caught the bug 8 years ago, and maybe that's going to happen now. 3 acres is not really. Anyway, let's see if there's any property around there for sale. More intense winter weather and farther away from. I know. Let's see. Monterey is on the other side of Cookeville, right? Yeah. I want more than 3 acres, but I also want a house that I can just go straight into. Valerie. Oh, okay. Thank you, Valerie. Valerie is attempting to learn English. I appreciate that. Petrovsky. And that's interesting because one of my best friends, Valerie, her last name is Petrosky with no V. So probably at some point they dropped the V because it's the same Petrosky. Yeah, with a Y instead of an I. Vertical gardening is the way. You're right. You're right, Renato. Oh no. Happy's talking about the fires in Colorado. Yeah, I don't know what you can do in Texas with the that heat. Schools are closed. I know. Kids don't want to work. I couldn't get my second son to work. Oh, he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't know how to grow his own food. Oh, Sandra is in Fort Collins in Colorado. The smoke is awful. Let's see. Beatrice is gone, and I'm going to be signing off. Valerie, there are fires in Colorado. There's fires in California. This is fire season where we have to worry so much about fires here. And even if you manage not to have a fire close to you, you suffer from the smoke because it drifts all over. I mean, when the fires are really horrible in other continents, it can cross continents, just like locusts. Let's see, everybody. I hope Jason Chung, we are just getting off. Please tune in next time on time, and then I will hear all about your garden and any questions that you have. Tune in at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday. If you can, I know that's going east of here. That's hard because people are in bed. But if you're able to tune in at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday, I'll be here. And God bless everybody. And I hope you all stay safe. And I love you.